That place is actually the focal point. It's very, very important. You heard Jackie there, and we'll go to the numbers very soon. If you look at the top 5 polling stations with the highest number of registered voters, Methodist is one of them, right? But we were talking about turnouts, right? Yeah. And your question you asked, and it's simple. You know that from 1996 to 2020, NDC has been in the minority. To even think of getting 40% was a dream, because the highest they've done was 38% in 2012, 38.23% in 2012. So to get to this point where we have to do a rerun of 19 polling stations to decide, it gives the NDC that strong conviction that, well, we are making inroads and we can possibly win in this place. That brings me back to the point I was making, whether Ablekuma is indeed an organic stronghold or a proxy stronghold, where if you don't, bus people into the constituency, you will not be able to win that. And we understand that in 2024, one dynamic that changed the outcome of the election was turnout. And Ablekuma North suffered heavily in terms of the turnout, where they got just 62% of the registered voters. If y'all can actually give me that slide, that would be very good, where you see how Ablekuma has actually tanked in terms of convincing people to come and vote. As it stands now, if you select 10 registered voters, the likelihood that all of them will come out to vote is very low. You can only get 6 out of that 10 to come out and vote because of the numbers we are seeing. But Kujo, I want us to go back to and start looking at all the 19 polling stations and see the registered voters and how they've come so far. But I mean, before we even go to that registered voters or the rank we have done, we remember we said Ablekuma is 100% urban. Yeah. It means that people move in and out. And then also that place is majority. So most of the places are, residential areas. So people come there, they come and rent places. And then they leave. And then they leave, right? It's mostly like a settler urban community where people move in and out. And so when you look at transfer of when there's that period, political parties tend to protect those areas where are majority urban, residential areas, because they know that there's a high likelihood that there are voters who have actually moved in and out, right? Yeah.
Okay, let's take you to the grounds now, because James Aveji is speaking to the General Secretary of the NDC, Fifi Fiavekwete now.
We are confident.
Apologies for the quality of the sound there, but we'll take you back for that particular interaction between James Aveji and and Fifi Fiavekwete, the General Secretary of the NDC. Kofi.
It all boils down to turnout, right? Yeah. And in fact, the national picture stands somewhere around 64%. Okay, so it will be interesting to see the direction that Ablekuma will go in terms of this 19 polling stations. It will be when we do the simulation and also the modeling. At what point are you going to have people coming out to vote? We'll look at that data very soon and see how the turnout is going to look like in Ablekuma North.
Okay, let me take you back to the conversation between James Aveji and Fifi Kwete now. Okay, all right. I will bring you that particular conversation later. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go to the data and tell the story behind the numbers. Very important. And we'll be looking at. For me, this chart is fascinating. If you look at how the turnout has actually declined, and for me, one key reason is that this is a proxy majority, where although
but let me ask you a question. Since when did they start exactly? Because if you look at the data, 96 MPP won it. I mean, if MPP won it, right? This is this is turnout. But 96 MPP won it. 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012. Is that a characteristic of a proxy stronghold?
Well, so one thing that we also need to put across is that there are points where organic majority or strongholds move from organic to proxy.
Okay.
Depending on the people living. If you take a look at Ablekuma, for instance, although you have majority of the resident in there being Akans, if you combine other tribes, you see that they also hold a significant component of the demographic makeup of that constituency. So depending on how people move in and out, a constituency can move from an organic stronghold to a proxy stronghold. And the political parties, they know. When they look at the numbers, they see the turnout, they see how they move from a certain percentage in a certain previous election to another percentage. They know that they need to do something about it. So it's either you actually buzz people in to do the registration, or possibly galvanize your base and get more people to also go and vote. We also made a point of Ablekuma also having a significant component of youth being part of their voter register. So although it could be an organic constituency between 1996 and possibly 2008 or 12, the more you introduce new voters, the more the dynamics changes, and it actually makes it sort of like a proxy stronghold. Now just look at this. If you decide to do the simulation where this was the turnout somewhere 2020, and we decide to say that, okay, let's use the 2020 86%, 68% turnout to do the calculation. It means we're expecting some 4,666 to come out and vote, right? If you decide to use 57%, which has been the lowest, right? 3,911 people are likely to come and vote. And if we decide to use the highest ever turnout in Ablekuma, we expect 5,833. So all scenarios in this super graphic that you're seeing on the smart wall. Best case scenario or the average scenario, 4,666. Worst case scenario, 3,911. Best case scenario, 5,833. And we have said that based on historical data, if you sample 10 out of this best case scenario, NPP is likely to take 6 or 7 out of those registered voters. And so that was the conversation, and people are actually saying that this is your stronghold, whether it be proxy or organic. You shouldn't be worried about a rerun, right? Because if you look at the distribution of the 19 polling stations that we are talking about, let's look at a place like, I'm taking you through all the 19 polling stations, and we are seeing why this election is so important, and why certain polling stations are very, very particular and important. God First International School, 428 people expected to go and vote, right? Pentecost Church, it has one of the highest, in fact, it's actually the highest, 635 registered voters. It will be interesting to see the atmosphere at the Pentecost Church at the moment. But per what we know and the data that we are getting from the EC ballot statistics, this is one big constituency that, in fact, whether you are convincing people or you are telling people not to vote for any other political party, you should really pay attention to Pentecost church polling station.
Okay.
DVLA office, also very important. And when we come back to that, we'll come back from that, we'll tell you the remaining, and possibly also go to the Methodist Church and see why it is also very, very important, Kojo.
All right. This is still the special edition of News Desk. It's an extended edition because we're going till 12 midday. We are covering the special rerun of the 19 polling stations in the Ablekuma North constituency. But let me bring in Dr. Victor Doke. He is a security analyst and lectures at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Doc, I'm grateful to you for joining us. Now, I'm sure you've followed the Ablekuma rerun from morning till now. What do you make of the security arrangement that you see there? Doc, if you began talking, then you have to unmute for me. Yeah, Doc, so if you had my question, I want to pick your thought on the security arrangement or presence you've seen in Ablekuma North this morning. Well, Doc, good morning to you. Okay. We have Dr. Victor Doke. He's a security analyst and a lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. So we'll bring him on quite shortly so we can have this chat together. Doc, if I have you, I want you to tell me what you make of the security presence at the Ablekuma North as you've seen today. Okay, we'll bring that to you later. Let me come into the studio and listen to Kofi. Kofi, you're making a point about the voter count in all of these polling stations as we have.
Well, so the average is around 431, but definitely you see there are outliers. There are constituencies that are above the average, there are polling stations that are above the average, and there are others that are below the average. And so I was telling you the story of the DVLA office being, I think, the second or third highest, 613 registered voters.
That's what Aveji was this morning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in fact, if you really want to win this election, you should be targeting God First International School. If you want to win, you need a certain component of that. Pentecost Church, DVLA office, a CEDU, JEDU Memorial, also about 418 registered voters also there. I mean, if you go through the other, 19 polling stations, you see why this is important and why turnout has become the most important conversation in this. When we come back from that, I mean, we will go more into the remaining polling stations and why they're so important and the probability of you getting more from the number of people who would turn out will really decide where Ablekuma North will decide to go.
Turnout matters, but let's take you to the Methodist Church now, where Jacqueline Swayabwa is standing by.
Okay, so these are some of the scenes in here at the Ablekuma North constituency. What I was there from afar, they are still trying to make sure they gather their people to come around to vote. But you heard earlier what the MPP party faithful said about what transpired here earlier. Even though we missed, but we had someone called us to come closer that there was a bit of misunderstanding here, and that was what he narrated. There was a misunderstanding between the two parties, the MPP and the NDC, right here closer to the filling station, close to the polling station here at the Ablekuma North constituency.
But let me bring in Dr. Victor Docker now. He is a security analyst and a lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. He's joining us via Zoom. Doc, I wanted to pick your thought on the security presence you've seen in Ablekuma North. You can even comment on what you've seen. We understand there was some misunderstanding of a sort there, but I mean, they've been able to resolve it.
Right. Thank you. Good morning. I hope the voice is okay now.
Very okay, yes.
Right. So with regards to the security preparations, one, what I've heard from the police themselves is on paper, deployment of about 100 or so personnel at the polling station.
Yes, 100 per polling station, that's what we know.
Yeah, 100 per polling station. But on the ground, what I've seen is not 100. In some places, that this one I passed through before coming to the office, it's not 100. Now, even with regards to what we are seeing now on screen, I've counted about 4 of them. So where are the rest of the 90-something? So I don't know if the 100 is really reflective on the ground, but they should have that reflection on paper on the ground, if that is not the case, because it's enough to even have any kind of misunderstanding. So it shouldn't even, exaggerate or extend to fiscal, confrontations. 100 is so much enough to curtail any sort of misunderstandings and to even respond to any situation in regards to whoever wants to disturb the exercise. So I think in all, they should, take a look at it well. Those areas probably where it's less than 100, they should try and then add up to the numbers. But so far, the patrol with regards to the police service is high. I've seen a lot of them patrolling. I've seen the men gear up very well. I hope the momentum in that regard should be maintained. The preemptiveness and proactiveness with regards to responding to emergencies that would happen or reported to them should be very apt, and they shouldn't take anything for chance. Whoever flouts the laws, they should take out a person and then deal with the person according to the law. We wouldn't want to have a situation where sympathizers of the ruling party or ruling government, would be arrested, and then we hear that because some politically charming and all of that, they've released them. Everyone who flouts the laws will be made to face it. And I think with that, when they will send a signal to the youth who want to foment trouble to, stay away. Prior to yesterday, what I noticed was a lot of motorbikes, around with youth, displaying here and there. And today it's limited. It's early days, yes, because they know motorbikes are not allowed, at some distance. But what happens afterwards, the voting itself? We're talking about the counting. Alertness needs to be, extended right till the end of the counting and declaration. So if after 5 p.m., we also notice that motorbikes are very rampant in areas, I think they should be able to be quick enough to, stop all those things. And I think when we are alert, we'll be able to, preempt and then be proactive in responding to any kind of situation.
I mean, what do you make of the decision by the government to say that this is internal, so we believe the police can handle it? There's no need for us to bring in the military.
Okay, so I don't know what decision went into, that specifically for the government, and thereby the Minister of Defense to come and then say the military will not be involved. Well, you're talking about elections, and ideally, the police is the lead, but then there's an election security task force. But if entirely you don't want even the military to be involved, at least you need some section, you need some men on standby just in case things go haywire to respond to or assist the police. So in my personal opinion, I think whatever that went into that decision, they should have, taken a look at it. But it means they are very optimistic that the police can handle the situation. So per what myself and others have described with regards to what should be done, if it is done from the police's side, then trust me, we won't have any situations. But otherwise, then means we'll have some challenges. And what will happen means that the police will have no choice than to call in. And I don't think if the police reaches out to the military for assistance, they would, neglect that call. It would be good. So I think, although we've heard that there will be military involvement, trust me, when the need arises, you will see the military coming in to assist the security force.
Before I let you go, you've proposed what the police should do in this particular election, 19 polling stations. Can you refresh us to understand what your position is as to what the police should do to maintain peace and order in this process?
One, neutrality is very key. Immediately the citizens see you take inside, then they begin to point fingers, allegations fly here and there, and it makes it difficult for you to execute your mandate. Now, when you remain neutral, everybody will trust you. That's number one. Number two, be bold, assertive, and as we've spoken, proactiveness and preemptiveness of the situation before it gets out of hand. We are there to cooperate and collaborate with all the officials there. If anything is happening, you should be able to ask the AC officials whether you can do A, B, or C. Call for reinforcement when needed and necessary. The moment you see large young groups with big motorbikes, as we're seeing now, people wearing military paraphernalia or something that looks like military paraphernalia, and you have to call in emergency response team, you call in the emergency response team to come and then assist with the situation, you observe, you monitor. Now, all those young guys, as we are looking at on the screen now, motorbike helmets on their head, going in there. What is it for? And you see the policemen over there. So then, this is the situation we are talking about. Assertiveness, proactiveness. We all saw they entered. Did the police try to stop them? I don't think so. So what is going to happen if this should continue? Okay? So I think the 100 men is okay. Is it reflective on the ground? If it is reflective on the ground, we will not be seeing what we are seeing here. Are you
okay, Doug, hold on. Let me take you to the grounds now.
That is what you can see inside. Get a closer look. The doors are locked, but that is what you can see here. I want to. That is what is happening right inside here at the. So that is some fight happening right inside here. That is what is happening here. So that is the fight, that is the chaos that is happening right inside your Doko Methodist church. All we saw were that we saw some marksmen enter the premises. So the police is in here trying to halt whatever that is happening. You can see that the men who entered, they have been apprehended. Okay, so that is what is happening. That is what, if you get a closer view, the members are fighting with the police there.
Like, what is this?
That is what is happening.
Don't go inside.
Okay, so they've moved to the back. They've moved to the back of the building. So these are some of the scenes, the sights and sounds that you are seeing in here at the Ablekuma North Modoko Methodist Church.
Okay, I want to find
More
out from you.
scenes here. Security and a lot of cars coming in here at the polling station here at the Ablekuma North. There's still chaos here. There's more chaos outside here. There's more chaos outside here. There's more chaos here. Oh, Jesus! A lady has been slapped. Wow. Sorry. Jesus. Hey. No, but why did you slap? One of our reporters has just been assaulted. Jesus. One of our reporters has just been assaulted. One of the members, they've just assaulted one of our reporters. Come. One of our reporters have been arrested.
Sorry. It's one of the hazards.
No, he really hit her. He really hit her. He really hit her.
Not the best. Sweetheart,
No,
he
just hit her.
It's okay.
She was just even turning away. And the officers are all standing there. Standing there.
Sorry.